Today, I want to get a little bit into the subject of AI, artificial intelligence, specifically how we should use it in ministry. Now, the whole term AI and artificial intelligence really scares some people. And you might think, well, it has no place in ministry. Or, hey, man, this is going to make my life easy. I don't have to do any more work if a machine does it all for me. So I just want to talk about this for a little bit today. Most of us probably don't really understand it. It's very complicated, but it's a tool that is out there now, and we have to be careful with it. So I want to share a few things that I am learning about it. I haven't really even been looking at very long at all, and I'm sure I'm going to make a lot of videos in the future, or at least talk about how we can actually use this and if we should and all that. But just begin to look at it, just have some thoughts over the last few weeks as I'm playing around with it a little bit more and trying to figure out what all it can do. Some thoughts about AI and ministry. How are we supposed to bring the two together, or even are we supposed to do it? Now, one thing that we have to remember is that artificial intelligence is here to stay. It's not just going to come on the scene and disappear. It's all over the place. So some of you might say, I'm not going to have anything to do with AI. I'm going to stay away from it. It's the work of the devil. But let me just tell you, you're already using it. You have facial recognition on your phone. You have autocorrect on anything you type. You do Google searches. AI is everywhere. You can't get away from it. So we just have to understand that this is now a part of life. And if you watch and listen to any kind of news about artificial intelligence, you realize that it is growing like crazy. It seems like every day there are new things that they're coming up with. It's just incredible what this stuff can do. So you've probably heard of this before. Maybe you've messed with it a little bit. Maybe you're very good at it, and this might seem like a very low quality, video that I'm making. Like, come on, I know all that stuff. But this is mainly for us who are in ministry to think about how we should actually be using this. Are there benefits and warnings to it? We're going to talk about that a little bit, and there's so much more that we could say. But you've probably heard of AI such as ChatGPT or Gemini or Copilot if you use Microsoft. And there are so many of them out there. There's no way that we can look at all of them. But some of you may have heard when it first came out. First time I heard of it, it was students are able to write term papers using ChatGPT. And I thought, what? How in the world does that work? Until I started looking at it, and it actually makes sense. So this is a concern that obviously that teachers have, is that students could actually write term papers and answer things with ChatGPT. Of course, they have ways of finding out. They have ways to find out, like my son teaches English in a public school, and he's like, this kid doesn't even know this word. He's using it in his paper, So obviously you can have some things like that. But can pastors use it to write sermons? The answer is, it's possible. It's very possible, but don't do it. If I can just start with that, don't do it. Don't use ChatGPT or anything to write your sermons, but it's possible. But we can actually use it in our preparation. So one of the things that you've probably seen with AI is the AI-generated images. You see pictures of it. Right now, many of them really don't look real. They're really cool, but they don't really look real, a lot of them. You can go into certain AI engines and say, give me a picture of this, or that, and it'll do some stuff, and it's kind of cool. But where I've really seen it seem to be more realistic right now is where you can take, in some places, you can take a picture, a real photo, and upload it and have it change things in the photo. It's just incredible. And you say, well, it can never look totally realistic. Well, we are only at the very beginning stages of AI. What AI can do today is absolutely incredible, and it's just getting even better. So this is here. We got to deal with it. And what are we going to do when it comes to ministry? But what I want to look at here more today is more of the text-based things, writing and things like that. Because that's what's really going to affect us in ministry right now. Now, in the future, there's obviously, you can be able to make videos with it's already possible in some ways, and just so many marketing, everything, just every aspect, and even you can have conversations with AI. And so there are ways that you could even get on AI, type it, or even speak and have a conversation like you're practicing giving the gospel to somebody. So you can see these are great training tools, and practice with apologetics. If I say this to you and then it responds just like you're talking to a person, and this could be good ways to train. And so there are things, counseling sessions, how about that? You practice practice the counseling session, and you have an idea what somebody's going to say back to you. So these are ways that AI is going to be used and is being used today in many ways. But I want to focus on the writing aspect of it, because if you're in the ministry, this is a big part of what you do. If you're a pastor, you're probably writing sermons all the time. The huge part of my time is spent writing Bible studies, sermons, things like that. How can we use AI, and should we use AI and as we do this? So I want to talk about this. So I want to explain something that maybe this is, not new at all to you, and maybe it is new to you. But how in the world does this stuff even work? AI, as far as writing things, is based on something it's called large language models, or LLMs. A large language model is basically, and I'm very basic here, taking vast amounts of information. When I say vast amounts of information, imagine to a degree almost everything that has ever been written. A book, a social media post, whatever, if it's been written. The vast amounts of this information are fed into a system. And what the system does is it begins to learn how different parts of what you say and what you write work together. So, for example, say you're on your phone and you're typing a text and it does autocorrect. It does it to me all the time. It drives me crazy. Then you go to hit send and, oh man, it messed something up because it thought you were saying something you weren't saying. What's going on is you have this huge, massive database that is saying a better percentage of the time when somebody says these words in a row, then this is the next one. And so it thinks it knows what you're going to say because millions of people before have used that. When you get into a large language model, it's not just taking just one sentence, but it's taking everything that you've written. And so if I were to get into an engine and type, give me a term paper on whatever, it looks through millions and billions probably of text, and it says, okay, when people are asking for this, sometimes they said this, sometimes they said this, and it gives a better percentage of this, and it compiles all that together, and that fast, there it is on your screen. It's just incredible what it can do. But when you have a little the autocorrect, or it's guessing the next word that you want, that's just a little bit of understanding. That comes from many, many people using that sequence of words and then coming up with the next word. So an LLM, a large language model, does this on a huge scale. I just want to show you a little bit of how this actually works to get an idea if you've never messed with this. I have over here open, this is ChatGPT, probably the one that most people know about, and there's all kinds of these. But let me just type, and I haven't done this, so I don't know what it's going to look like. I'm going to say, give me a one-page paper on different understandings. Okay, give me a one-page paper on different understandings of creation. So let's just say I'm going to be teaching on creation, and I want to get a term paper on it. This is how powerful this is. I don't know what this is going to do. I've never done this one. Let me hit the arrow there, see what we get. So, hey, here's a concise paper. So different understandings of creation, and it talks about it. Okay, so it's giving me a one-page paper. And then look, it says, would you like me to expand this into a longer essay or keep it short? And you can do it. You say, you know what, I want to do, and it remembers other prompts that you have given it. And you can say, I could say, hey, give me not headlines. Let's give me the points. Make this into 3 main points. Let's do that. Make this into 3 main points. Let's see. I have no idea what it's going to do. Okay. See, it's taken massive amounts of information, what people have said. Here we go. Okay, now we have an outline. Different understandings of creation. We have religious understandings, philosophical understandings, scientific understandings. I mean, it's just you can see how you can find out things that you did not understand before. And you can just keep playing around with this. Summarize this in one paragraph. Okay, let's see what this does. Summarize this in one paragraph. Click it. Now we have one paragraph, and it asks you, would you like me to make this even shorter? So you can see how this can be really helpful as you're studying things. And of course, I'm going to give you the warnings and everything too. So you say, okay, how does this work for ministry? Well, this is an idea here, but let's just say that you were lazy and you said, hey, I've been messing around all week. I've been playing on the computer and I haven't done anything. Tomorrow's Sunday. Oh no, I got to have a sermon. What can I preach on? Man, I don't know. Nothing's coming. So now let's see if we can write a sermon with this. And it can be done. I'm just going to pull one out of the air, just a passage, and see what it can do. So let me get this back for you again. So let's just say, give me a sermon on, let's choose something in the Old Testament on Ezekiel. Let's go chapter 4, verses 5 to 10. I have no idea what that's about. I didn't look it up. Just call it out of the air. And let's make it more specific. It's going to give us an introduction and a conclusion, probably anyway. But let's just tell it to. Give me an introduction and conclusion. Hey, let's 3 points. Let's do 3 points. Make it with 3 points. And let's throw a poem in there, okay? Throw a poem in there also. Okay, 3 points in a poem. We got to have that. Let us see what this is going to do. Let's just click that and see if we can get a sermon. Absolutely. It's very nice. It talks to you. Here's a full sermon. Okay, and give me a title, The Weight of Sin and the Bread of Judgment. Oh, that's pretty interesting. He has an introduction there, and it has point 1, the seriousness of sin. Point 2, the reality of judgment. Oh, there's my poem. Bread baked in ashes, bitter and dry, yet a sign from heaven, a warning on high. When comfort fades and plenty is gone, God's justice stands unwavering strong. It probably just wrote that by itself. I have no idea if that's a real poem. Probably not, though. God's provision and hardships. You see, man, it came up with, and look how fast it did. And someone could just take that, print it off, and run to the pulpit. There you go. You got yourself a sermon. How easy is that? All right, so let me just say before I get into this, I'm going to give you the warnings in a little bit. Don't just do that. There are reasons you don't just want to do that. You probably come up with some of your own right now, but let me share some things. First of all, some benefits. What are some benefits of AI? One benefit is it really, really helps in research. You don't know what you don't know. So you could type in something in an engine and have it find out. I'm currently doing an issue or a whole study on abortion. And one of the things I did when I just typed into one of the, I think it was Copilot because I was using Microsoft Word. I just said, give me a history of abortion in the United States. And it came with all these lists, the dates. And I could look through those dates then. And I'd say, oh, I didn't know about that. And I'd take that date. And this is what's key. I take that and I go and research what happened with legitimate websites. I don't just say, artificial intelligence told me it happened, so it did. It just tells me something. Hey, you should check on this. So then I go and check on it, and I read about it, and I read court cases and laws, and whatever happened. That's a good way to use it. One way you can use it is like a commentary. You say, we should never use AI. Well, use a commentary, right? You look at commentary and you see, what does so-and-so think about this? What does somebody else think about it? What an LLM does is it takes what many, many thousands of people have written about this, and it brings it all in together. And if you type the same prompt many times, you'll usually get different responses too. So it's bringing all this together. And what it does, you can say, okay, if you look at it, it's like, what have other people thought about this? What am I missing? That's why I use commentaries. And sometimes I'll type an idea into AI, just see what it's going to do. Okay, is there something I haven't thought of in this thing before? If you ever Googled anything, you basically are doing the same thing. So it helps make research faster. I've had a little bit of a hard time. I have typed in there, I've seen where it showed me something that happened. Then I say, okay, give me primary sources for this. And it hasn't done a real good job giving me primary sources. Might go to Wikipedia or something like that, but that's not what I want. And so, but that does give me something to go on. Okay, this court case happened in 1970. Let me go off and study on that, not through AI, but through actual legitimate websites. Okay, if I'm stuck on a passage in Hebrews, hey, what are people saying about this? You get ideas. So it's helpful for research. Because you're finding out things that other people have put in there. But again, this is a machine. This is bringing what a whole lot of people have said and bringing it in together. So it helps with research. It can also help with clarity. Once you have your sermon or your book or your article or whatever written out, it can help you however you say that word, bring your thoughts together, okay? Helps them bring together. Some people actually use this for Bible studies. I've tried a couple times just to see what happened. I haven't really liked it. You can say, here's my study, give me a handout. I like to format my handouts the way I like them, but it can do that. You can give me you say, okay, here's this study that I wrote. Give me 6 discussion questions, and it'll look through there that quick. It'll give you discussion questions, and then you can look down through there and say, okay, these are good questions, they're bad questions. But it has learned to put all this stuff together, and you can do it. One of the ways I have used it is as a thesaurus. I was working on a sermon for Matthew for coming up a long time in the future. And I don't usually like to alliterate, but it was just kind of coming in an alliteration thing. But I needed one more word, an alliterated word. And so I just typed this. I said, give me a word that means reward and starts with an M. And it came back and said, merit. I said, oh, that's pretty good. Okay, it's not doing my work for me. It's just keeping me from having to go to a thesaurus or sit there for half a day trying to think of what in the world, begins with an M. So you can use it for things like that. It's a tool like so many other things that you use. Another way that AI can help is finding syntax errors. You can put your whole text into something or just do it through Copilot if you're using Microsoft Word, because there's a little thing on the side. It says Copilot. And I was writing an article for a church newsletter just a couple days ago, and I was all done. I'd read through it several times, and I'm really a stickler with getting everything perfect. And finally I said, well, let me just see what this can do. So I just went to Copilot, and I typed this: show me any syntax errors in this document. I hit it, and it came up, and there was one place I had used the word that instead of the word the, and I hadn't caught it in my proofreading. And I'd read it, and I missed that. But it showed me that. Not only did it tell me, hey, use the word that instead of the, but it also told me why I shouldn't have, which I already knew that as soon as I saw it. It's like, oh, that's not supposed to be there. But it tells me why. So if you're not very good at syntax and very English, just do that. Say, tell me what's wrong with this. Fix my syntax, and it'll tell you all these things. And you might even learn something in the process. So it's really, really handy if you want to write something where somebody like me is not going to proofread it when we read it. All right, another thing it can do is give you fresh ideas. We can all get stuck in our same thoughts all the time. And sometimes you're like, why does every sermon have the same application to me? Why can't I see around it? You can pull from other people's ideas, because that's what an LLM is. That's what AI does. It pulls from all these other ideas and bring them together. I haven't done this. I don't remember doing this anyway, but I have heard of people doing this. They put the text of their sermon in it and say, okay, give me some ideas of how to apply this. And you can look through that. Some of them might be really dumb, but you might find one. You say, wow, that's actually really cool. How come I didn't think of it that way? All right. You say, well, you're taking the Holy Spirit's work out of this. No, I mean, you might be using Logos, you might be using some Bible software, you might be reading commentaries. So if you're doing anything other than just the Bible, you can make the same argument, okay? And God has given us all these things, I think, to help us and learn. We need to be learning from other people. And so it does help with fresh ideas. It's a really handy tool to have. However, there are some serious warnings when it comes to AI, and I want to make sure we get these, all right? Number one, it can be wrong. AI often is wrong. You can't trust everything you see. You have to research it. Don't just copy and paste. Don't let it do your work for you, or you're a lazy bum, okay? Use it to help you as a tool. So just as an example, I mentioned I'm doing a study through the book of Matthew to preach here at some point. And I got to Matthew 6, verse 1. And I noticed some texts seem to mention that it's talking about almsgiving and some acts of righteousness. Be careful not to do your alms before men, or not to do your charitable deeds before men. In some Bible versions, it use, like alms or charitable deeds. In other versions, it talks about don't do your acts of righteousness before men to be seen of them. And I thought that's pretty interesting. And I started to realize that one of the reasons that these translations have it differently is because the underlying texts are different, if you know anything about that. If you don't know anything about that, you need to look up my series on Bible versions, okay, because I explain that a lot more. So some of the texts have words that means, like charity, like almsgiving, and some are doing righteous acts. And so I went to one of the, I went to ChatGPT, and I said, tell me which texts use the word for acts of righteousness and which used for almsgiving. And it gave me an answer back quickly. And as I looked at the answer, I thought, that doesn't seem right, because it said that the Textus Receptus uses it one way and critical text uses it the other way, but I know it was the other way around from the Bible versions I was looking at. And so I said this, I was in the screen there, and I just said, check again which text. Let me actually read what I wrote. I said, check again on which texts use which Greek word for righteousness or almsgiving. And it came back and it switches answers. Okay. So you have to check up on everything. It got it right the second time. The first time it got it wrong. For whatever reason, this is machine. It's going to get things wrong just like people can get things wrong. And so you have to be careful. It can be wrong. That's why it has to be used as a research assistant. It's really, really helpful, but you can't just trust it. Just like a commentary. I never just read a commentary and say, okay, that must be what it is. No, I need to look at it because I have many commentaries, and those commentators often don't agree with each other. And so we have to use our own brains, okay? Number two, another warning about using AI is it can make you lazy. Don't let it do your work for you. Don't get there Saturday night at your computer, type in, give me a sermon on Ezekiel, and you go take that to the pulpit the next day. Don't be lazy. Your job is not to do that. Your job is to learn what you're talking about, which brings us to the next warning that I have about this is you can cheat with it. Don't cheat with AI. You're cheating yourself and you're cheating your people if you just punch into AI. It's just like going to I always say sermons.com. I don't even know if that's a website, but you can download sermons other people have preached and preach them. It's the same thing. Don't do that. You're cheating yourself and you're cheating your people. You're cheating yourself out of a chance to learn. You learn a lot when you're actually doing the research and finding, even if you use AI, but you're doing the research yourself. The people in your church, if you're a pastor or if you're a Sunday school teacher or something, they don't allow you to be in that position so you can preach somebody else's sermon. They put you in that position because they want you to study and learn and wrestle through these things and sometimes be convicted. They want you to work on it hard and then bring them what you come up with. Hey, on all my research and my study, this is what I think it means, and this is how it applies, and my applications are coming from somebody who knows the people. Okay, now, like I said, sometimes AI can help because we get one track, we can't think outside, and AI can help us. Oh, well, there's another application, just like you might get from a commentary. But it can, we have to be careful not to use it to cheat. It's our job to teach, not to just get up and ramble off something that AI has given to us. So you can use it, but not exclusively. Use it as a supplemental tool. Your people aren't there. But for goodness sakes, if they wanted a sermon on Matthew 5, and you were just going to do one of ChatGPT, well, they could do it themselves and read it and don't have to come out to church. They're coming out because they want to hear what you have been wrestling with, what you have learned yourself. Don't cheat yourself, don't cheat your people, and don't cheat out on God just by using it. So there's just a few thoughts as we have this AI revolution. It's not going away. It's here to stay. We just have to use it with wisdom. It's a tool. It's a tool to use, but we have to use it as a tool, not let it run our life. So hopefully it'll be helpful. As I learn more about this, maybe I'll come up with some other things. If you have any comments or anything about how you've used it, please put it in the comments there, and I'd love to hear them. And I'll see you next time. God bless.